So, how many of you have placed an order through a mobile app for fast food? It could be any of the big time restaurants or chains that you know of. You place an order through a mobile app, and the great thing about the mobile apps is you can set up the order exactly the way you want it. And so there's no mistake. There is no confusion based on how you talk, how you enunciate. There's no confusion based on the person receiving the order in terms of what they understand versus what they don't understand. When the mobile order goes through, everything is in writing. It's clear, it's legible, and it's precise. So, if you are a vegan and you order food on a mobile app and it comes across to the restaurant perfectly, when you pick up your order and instead of beans or vegetables, there's beef or chicken or ground beef. Maybe the ground beef looks like refried beans, but you can't fool your tongue. You can't fool your taste buds. As soon as you bite in, you know it's ground beef or it's chicken. And so, whether you are vegan or not, many people have had the experience almost on a daily basis of their order being wrong. Whether they place it through a mobile app or they go through a drive-through and they grab their stuff, because who wants to check their order, double check their order every time they go through drive-through or go through fast food? Who wants to sit there in the parking lot, go through all those nicely packaged bags and wrapped food items, and spend another 5 minutes doing quality control that should have occurred inside the fast food establishment? Who wants to do that every day? Because there's an expectation of quality, and with that high quality would come convenience. You can place your order, do some other things, and if your order is the type where you can pick it up by a certain time, you swoop by, you grab it, and think nothing of it. That's the implied promise. But that promise is broken every day for tens of thousands of people. That promise is broken every day for tens of thousands of people. So, when automation increases to the extent where you need less people, but quality goes up, or people are like, I wish I could get more hours. I wish I could get more hours at my job. I wish I could get more hours at my job, but you don't do the job right. It could be fast food, it could be a factory, it could be a warehouse, it could be wherever. But the job that you're supposed to do, where you are supposed to exercise this job with quality, with focus, with attention. When you're actually on the job, you let things slide. You take shortcuts that create bad results. You really don't care. You just want the paycheck for showing up. And that's not what the paycheck is for. The paycheck is not for showing up. The paycheck is for doing and meeting the standards of the job role. doing and meeting the standards. That doesn't mean a low standard. It means at a minimum getting everything right. And then if you exceed the standards and do things with a much higher quality than the minimum standards, then that's great. That can lead to promotions, that can lead to more opportunities, that can improve the business and keep customers engaged. But when people's orders are wrong, when they go through fast food, then you start to wonder if it's even worth it having people provide fast food. You begin to wonder about that. So I say all of this to say that Amazon announced their plans to replace 500,000 workers with robots. So the robots are coming. And robots don't have to look like people. They don't have to have a head, arms, legs, and eyes the same way that people do. Robots can be square. They can be rectangular. They can be the shape of a basketball. Robots can come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. So when the factory and warehouse workers get replaced with robots, the quality of what is delivered in terms of people's packages, in terms of how the packages are packed, is going to go up. You're going to be able to place an order on Amazon and then other companies once this rolls out, and your package is going to be packed flawlessly. And there won't be any mistakes, because properly coded computer programs don't make mistakes. So you as a human being, not you as an individual, not you personally, but human beings in general, don't have anything to offer, because human beings are not performing the job properly in the first place to justify even having human beings in the pipeline. Yes, at certain points in the last couple of years, humans were cheaper than robots. But the thing of it is, the cost of robots have gone down, and the opportunity to make more profits, not just by reducing the amount of humans involved, but, as I've said, to increase and sustain customer satisfaction at levels that humans cannot do. Yes, you got some superstars when it comes to people that can do jobs properly and do them well. You have some superstars. There's just not enough of them. And there are many people who make excuses, and they get tired, and they just don't have their own motivation. You see, superstars or employees who work so hard, so well, the majority of the time, they don't even need a pat on the back. They're just that type of person. And in many environments, it is those superstars that turn the tide. They are the ones that make the biggest difference in the factory or the warehouse or even the fast food establishment meeting its goals, including customer satisfaction. So if we can get more of that for an increasing population of people, then that's a good thing. That saves time, that lowers people's cortisol levels, that lowers people's overall stress, because they're not fighting these daily battles over the quality of their food or their packages when it's delivered. So robots replacing people is a good thing. And the people complaining about that, they may themselves be superstars, but they're blind, at least at the time that they're complaining, they're blind to the fact that the majority of work that gets done isn't getting done well. Not anymore. The overall quality of how things are built has declined as people have leaned in more to not being as engaged with what they do. So when I saw the headlines today about robots replacing 500,000 workers in warehouse, and you can also expand that out to factory, I was like, finally, this is the time to have this across the board. Finally, this is the time to see improvement in how things are built, how things execute, and how things flow. And so that's something to reflect on. And if you are going to be competitive in the future, if you are going to be someone that is or remains engaged in the workforce, then you really have to dig into a higher work ethic. You really have to dig into bringing your best. You really have to dig into what it means to work at your peak performance. But I think it also means that you have to look at not accepting low quality in your life. So if you get bad fast food service, just say no. Get the order corrected if you've already paid for it. But do whatever you can not to patronize businesses, not to go to businesses that chronically, like a chronic disease, they try to get things right, but they just can't. Time after time after time, they keep tripping over themselves. They keep slipping up. It is not worth it. There are alternatives out there. There are food franchises that more often than not get it right. There are other ways to feed yourself. You can go to the grocery store. It may not be as fast or convenient. There may be some challenges in your personal life. But the more of us that refuse to accept low quality, then the more that message gets across that what customers want is not bad service or even good enough service, because there's an element of that here where good enough service can be profitable, but it has to become profitable to deliver quality as it used to be. Once upon a time, more businesses, small businesses and even some large businesses, once upon a time, I would say even 30 years ago and back, higher quality was more common. And so if we all just dig in and embrace that as customers, I think we'll see a better outcome. But the road to that is going to go through automation. And so that's my point of view. I know that it may hit some, a certain way, but the reality is that if you are trying to buy something and you're not getting good service, then the person that's giving you good service time and time and time and time again, you might give them 10 chances, because 3 chances is too small. But you may give them 10 chances. You might give them 20 chances. But after about the 100th time, they continue to give you bad service. You just have to say, okay, this is not working, and it's time to try something else.